for convention because I'm really slow at making these videos. And disclaimer, I'm not going to go over any specific conventions, although I might mention a few. But I am going to be using a lot from Fangcon, which is a local con to me. When I say local, I mean like 2 hours, but it's a convention, so that's pretty local. I also have a ton of stuff from that con, because I literally just got back from it for this weekend. So I will be showing a lot of that stuff, and they're going to be totally happy for the free promotion, or I guess it is promotion? I don't know. Okay, anyway, so I decided to wear my badges, because you totally wear them at conventions. I got my first suit, and I got my actual personas. Okay, so I'm going to run through on like what you do when you get at a convention, when you go to a convention, pre-convention planning. I'm going to try and do it linear. I might skip around a little bit, but we're going to give this a shot. So, pre-convention, you find a convention that's local to you, or Anthrocon, because who doesn't go to Anthrocon? And you're like, oh, it's going to cost a lot of money. So what I always do is, because I'm really cheap, because I'm a college student, is I always pre-register. If I know I'm going to be there all 3 days, I'm going to pre-register. If I'm not sure because of work and stuff, I'm probably just going to, you know, buy a day or so. When I get there, it really depends, but I love pre-registering because if I'm going to go spend all this money to go be at a con, I'm going to be there the entire 3 days, or 4 days, depending on what con you're going to. So, after you pre-register, if you can't stay at your own house, you got to get a hotel. So, you get a hotel, or you ask a bunch of your friends, be like, hey guys, you want to go to this one with me? Cool, let's all get a room together. Now, some hotels do have a limit of 5, but you can get away with having more. Just be sneaky and quiet about it. Don't be throwing any room parties in there. Or what you can do is most conventions have either a forum on their own website where you can go and find, you know, car rides, other people going to the convention, people to room with and stuff like that, because I've never been to a con where someone hasn't been like, hey, I have extra space, or hey, does anyone need a room? Stuff like that. So it's really cool. It's a nice way to make new friends. It's a nice way to hang out with old friends. I just went to a con with an old friend, brought 2 of my new friends. He got to meet them. Now he has new friends. He brought a new person. I now have a new friend. It's a great way to meet new friends. Just make sure you can put up with the people. I know we all say, oh, I'm just going to sleep there. I like to hang out in my room because I'm sometimes like, I'm tired, I just want a break, and you just go and hang out in your room, which is really nice, which is why most people actually stay at the hotel for the convention, which I do recommend. I did that this weekend. It was great. I recommend for most conventions you go to. I don't recommend that with Anthrocon, but that's just because it's so expensive for me, so I always stay 20 minutes out. But my first year going, I did stay at one of the main hotels, and that was really nice. But again, it's not like a priority. Whatever you can do to get to the con is really the main thing. You can live out of your car. I do that at some conventions back home because I'm 30 minutes out from like 5 different conventions. Not all are furry, but you know. So I always go there and then I just live out of my car and I just drive back home at the end of the night and sleep, and then I come right back, and it's pretty fun. So, when you get to the convention, you're going to go right up there, and if you pre-registered, and you get a nice badge, and it has your name on it. I always use my persona name. You can use your screen name, you can use your real name, you can put sparkle fluff, whatever you really want on your badge. No one really looks at it. I mean, most people are just looking at, you know, your other little badges and stuff hanging around. But you get that, and you get the lovely con book. Now, most people bypass these. I love this because, first off, it's a free item that you can look back on and be like, oh, I remember going there. And, yeah, I went to Fangcon. What up? Small little con going on. It's a lot cheaper than Fright and a lot closer. So I went this year for Halloween because it's Halloween. I had to wear my fursuit. And one reason I really like these is, first off, there's cute, like, things in it. And I like to rip out pages and use them as posters. And like this one, this is really pretty. I'd probably take this out, put it on my wall. Free poster. I mean, you also get a free Fangcon poster right on the top. It also tells you, you know, the rules in case you need to read them. Always good to at least glance. They do change from con to con. They have little stories in them. They can let you know about different things that are going on within the community that people have paid for ads. Speaking of cons, there's actually a website, Con Roomies, right there. that will help you find a roommate, and some of them have signatures in the back, and you can go around and collect, and I didn't do it because I suck, but you can get your new friends' names, so you can get their names, their FA, their phone numbers. You know, it's a lot easier if you just throw this in the bag that you're using, and it's really cool. I like it. You get cool art, and it's a nice, memorable piece of memorabilia, and it's free, so, like, come on. I also got a few other things when I was there. I got a sticker, which I put in my fursuit box, and I got a few other things. Now, speaking of things, there is the dealer's den. You can go, you can buy little stuffed animals, like this little cutie that my mate bought. The little stuffed animal. Oh my god, it is so soft, it's not even funny. And you can get little personas, stuffed animals at some conventions. I got a little crazy, and I got new badges for all my personas, which is these. Yeah, and I mean, like, it's great, and sometimes even if you don't want, or you don't have the money to buy stuff, pick up their cards. I literally have an entire stack of business cards sitting over there, because I know I'm going to go back and use it, and I've done that a lot. I've been like, oh, I really liked this thing. What was it? So then I go through my little stack of furry business cards, and I figured out what it was, and I was able to order it 4 months after going and meeting them at the convention. The other thing about money, make sure you save at least $100 off to the side for food. You don't want to go buy all your furry art and then be like, I don't have money for food, I'm gonna starve. You can't eat furry art. Don't spend all your money on art and other stuff. Buy it on food. Food is important. I personally always bring a ton of food. I'm like, hey, most hotels have microwaves, and they have coffee pots. You can use the coffee pots to make hot water to make ramen, which is cheap. You can bring a bowl and some silverware, and you can put some ravioli, like Chef Boyardee, in a bowl and eat it. I live off of Chef Boyardee. Lots of cons I go to because it's great and it fills me up. Also, at cons, you have panels. I love panels. I've helped lead some panels. My mate runs a panel almost every con he goes to. They're great. You can learn about random things from furry video games to how to clean your fursuit, to how to construct your fursuit, to how to, you know, act in your fursuit. There's even the FurCon panel, which if it is your first convention, I highly suggest going, especially at Anthrocon. It's great. Even before you go to a con, check out those panels. People have recorded them, put them online. See which ones you want to go to. There are some like, hey, come play a game with us, or let's discuss statistics of the fandom, which I am a nerd and I love that stuff. Don't try and do all of them though, you will die. There are meetups with the panels. You can meet NC Furs, New York Furs, Pennsylvania Furs, Illinois Furs, cat meetups, dragon meetups, dog meetups, scaly meetups. There's a ton of meetups. Check out the list. I highly recommend it. I know it's not the entire point of the convention, but I love that part of the convention. Also part of the convention is there's the dance or the rave, depending on what convention you go to, depends on what they call it. They are so much fun. Don't be freaked out. You're like, oh, people are judging me. No one cares. We're all just in there being our goofy little furry selves. We're not paying attention, you know. It is so much fun. I've actually met a ton of friends in raves. Like, I was just dancing, and then they started dancing, and then we were laughing because we were both laughing at each other because we danced funny or something, I don't know. And then you go up to get water together and you're like, hey, what's up? It's really cool, actually. I highly recommend it. Even watching the fursuiters dancing in the rave is just adorable. Speaking of dancing, there is the dance competitions. I am always at them because I love them. I am going to cover dancing in my next video. D is for dancing. So I'm not going to go into too much of that because I know I'm going to cover it later. Meeting people, including poppy furs. Now, everyone loves telephone. We all love telephone, but I know how this is when I go to anime conventions. I can't even go to the bathroom because everyone's trying to swarm me. Give them some space. If they're trying to do something or go somewhere, recognize that and don't go bother them. If they're just hanging out, you know, go up, say, hey, they're normal people just like us. Just because, you know, pretty much the entire fandom might know their name doesn't mean that they're not people. They're still people, and it's not like the real celebrities where they hate the paparazzi and stuff. Most of the poppy furs that I've met actually are really nice. So just be aware of that. Okay, some basics. The 6-to-1 rule is 6 hours of sleep, 2 meals a day, and 1 shower. I recommend 2 to 3 if you are fursuiting, even in a partial. I generally shower after fursuiting because I don't like being sweaty and gross. So that's just me, but my suit gets really hot. That's always a classic. Everyone always brings up that rule, and we all joke about it and stuff. It's actually really important. So, most fursuits, we cannot see much except for in this area. We are very blind. We can't see on the sides, we can't see our feet, we can't see the ceiling. So when you approach us, either tap us on the shoulder or move in front of us. Don't go right in front of us so we're like, oh, hey, what's up? No, give some distance so we can at least see you and wave and stuff like that. And you can either do this for a picture, or you can just ask us for a picture. I know we're just cute animals, but we're still people, and we don't want to die and hurt our fursuit, or kick someone. I've kicked someone and I felt so bad. Occasionally bump into someone and stuff like that. Like, we can't see as well, so don't like baby us and be like, oh no, here you go. Like, don't, it's okay. Like, we're fine. Most of us know how to handle it, and if we don't, we have handlers with. If you do become a handler, good luck. And, I guess that's pretty much all I can think of. I am going to do an entire list of conventions that I have found. They're not all of them, but there will be a link to all of them down below so you guys can all check it out. And I hope this was really educational. If you can think of anything that I'm missing, just let me know, and I might redo this video or add it in a little tag somewhere. So yeah, see you guys next time.